This week's guest is a perfect example of what I'd like this show to be. I met Tatiana Obey at Gen Con and bought a couple of her Champloo mix books, and now my new friend is here to talk about her journey to courage, the upfront costs of indie publishing, and acts of resistance. Stay tuned with one of my new faves and hear more about what Demond does. DJ Prime, play the music. Welcome to Demond Does Conversations with Creatives. This is your nerd space safe place where you may find your new fave. I am Demond, father of two, husband of one, and leader of this here Demodcast. My next guest studied abroad in Japan, has a black belt in Taekwondo, and the real reason she's here is because she writes badass characters slaying dragons and kicking ass demons. Ladies and gentlemen, or wherever you fit on the non-binary spectrum, give it up for Tatiana Obey!
Hi, that was such a wonderful introduction. I loved it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for taking time out to talk to a perfect stranger. How you doing this evening?
What? No, we met face to face.
Well, that's kind of like a, yeah, I guess I probably should revise that one because we've actually met before. We're sort of we're new friends. How's that?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Will that work?
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh boy. So before we get started into the questions, where would you like to be found on the internet?
So usually I am found across different social media platforms at Obey the author, and I prefer to be found on my website. So it's TatianaObey.com, and you can follow me on my mailing list, follow me on my social medias, see what I'm up to and what I'm doing.
I appreciate the pun so much.
I couldn't help it. I was like, when you're born with that last name, you got to do something with it.
You ride that bad boy till the wheels fall off. I loved it. It tickles me every time I see it. As a matter of fact, we have a mutual that followed because of the pun of your username.
That's fun. That's fun. So I think it also like relates to my work too, because my work is kind of funny sometimes. So I think it kind of relates to it.
I love it. It's awesome. Alrighty, are you ready to answer a few questions?
Yes.
When did you know you wanted to be a writer? I'm aware you've been writing since you were pretty young and you probably have quite a few stories. Just regale us the tale on how we got here.
So yeah, I've been writing ever since I was little. Basically, ever since I started reading, I was writing. But something that I don't tell very often in interviews is one of my very first stories was based off of the video game guide, the visual art in the game guides for like Dragon Quest and Dragon Warriors, the Akira Toriyama art style. So like the book that I wrote has pictures and it has like black girls in like armor and shields fighting slimes and trolls. So even when I was little, like my first story was a princess on a quest to save the world fighting monsters.
I love it. That is so awesome. It's nice to see you haven't given that up.
No, 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 that spirit definitely like stays with me.
You jumped into the deep waters of indie publishing during the pandemic. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
What was the moment where you finally decided to put your foot in it and get in the indie publishing game?
Well, that final moment, that final push was my dad passed away from COVID. And especially in the Black community, there were a lot of people passing away, a lot of elders passing away. And it really hits you like life is short. You don't have long. And this has been on my bucket list for a long time. Like I said, I was writing since I was young, but I hadn't published anything. I hadn't put my stories out there. I've done it anonymously through fan fiction, but nothing with my name on it, right? And it was just always a bucket list item. And the COVID was really that push to get it done. Life's too short.
I love how your A Forging of Age duology was basically a Kill Bill. You wrote the whole thing and then went, maybe I should just cut this in half.
Yes, I'm very comfortable as a long form writer. Like like I say that duology is probably about like 300,000 words. But when you get into indie publishing, you realize that there's a lot of high upfront costs with indie publishing. So unlike trad publishing, where you find an agent and you find a traditional publishing deal and they give you an advance and they do marketing for you and they do a lot of things for you as an indie author, you're looking for the artist yourself. You're commissioning the artist, you're hiring a developmental editor, you're hiring a copy editor, you're hiring a proofreader, especially if this is kind of a business and a career that you're looking, you have to invest in it. And there are a lot of upfront costs. And when you look at proofreaders, they're by the word. And I wrote a lot of words just out of sheer kind of a financial decision. I decided to split the book up. And when I say that first book paid for the second book to be possible, that's what happened. And sometimes, like you have to make these business decisions. As an artist, you want to split up your vision. You want to split up your creative vision. But I still think about that moment. I still think about that decision. And I think about where I am now to where I don't necessarily have to make that decision anymore. I can write long books, and I do now have the support. I have the resources and the finances to be able to put out a longer work that I don't have to split the vision for. So sometimes you have to grow to get there.
Gotta pay your dues, if you will, like literally in your case.
Yeah.
What do you wish you had known when you had started out?
Ooh, I wish I had been more courageous because I didn't publish till COVID, but I had been writing books up until then. And one of the reasons why I think it took me a long time is me being the older sister of the family, or the oldest sibling of the family in general. You get it in your head and you grow up with that writing and being an artist isn't a real job. Like you're not going to make money off of that. You're the oldest, there's a lot of pressure to take care of the family, to go to college and get like a real degree, like not writing degree. Like I think that pressure kind of delayed things a bit. So like I wish that I hadn't listened to the pressure, right? Like I hadn't listened to oh, what if you don't make any money? What if you fail? What ifs, right? Because at the end of the day, it was like, well, this is something I had to do anyways. This is something that I had to try anyways. Like I don't think I would have always regretted not trying. Yeah, I wish I had gotten to that point sooner before the pandemic. I hate that the pandemic was what really pushed me and really forced me and what really made the decision. Because once I started publishing books, I had a lot of readers who were like, "This is exactly what we were looking for. Where have you been?" And I was just like, "Oh, I've been in my house, just telling stories to myself. I'm sorry, guys." I think sometimes it's a journey. It really is kind of just being able to really embrace yourself as a creative.
Well, as one of those people who are wondering where you've been, I'm glad you got there eventually.
Thank you.
What's your go to order at your favorite hometown restaurant?
Ah, man, this is hard. So I'm out of Dallas, and I feel like it's important in Dallas not to get too emotionally invested in a certain restaurant because here the food scene turns over really quickly. Like restaurants don't really last here for very long, so I try not to get too emotional about things. I mean, like sometimes you do have those hood staples that are here for the long run, but other than that, like things don't stay. Things don't stay. And also like the COVID pandemic has shaken up a lot of things. And I think that's true for a lot of cities where the food industry was hit really hard and has shaken up a lot of a lot of places that you thought were going to be around forever. So, I think like my favorite food is just real simple. I would get me like a burrito from Chipotle because it's $10. And to me, that's two meals. So that's $5 a meal. So, from this broke artist, those simple comforts I appreciate.
What's your favorite struggle meal?
Ooh. During the pandemic, it was Chipotle because it's like you can get all of the stuff inside. Like there was you can get like a lot of vitamins and vegetables inside. Other than that, like, like red beans and rice goes a long way, you know. Put that in a crock pot. It goes a long way. So I think red beans and rice is probably my second.
What are you curious about?
Ooh, everything, honestly. Like, I am definitely a person that loves learning new things. Like, if university was free, I would go to classes all the time. Like, I'd be learning something new. Like, I love history. I love random weird facts. I love languages. And, also like learning so many new things and different varied things, especially as a writer, helps you make a lot of different connections, like pulling kind of random things together to like inspiration for a lot of these worlds that I'm building. But yeah, I've always been curious, and it definitely has followed me into my writing. Because I always like to think that like my stories are thought experiments in and of itself. Like the what if something was like this? What if the world was like this? The fantasy genre really allows me to explore and ask all of my questions. Like that's I think that's one of the reasons why I'm a writer. Like I ask questions.
You've explained how your curiosity informs your writing. Are there any specific instances where you thought, how did I make that connection? And you traced it back to two disparate ideas?
Yeah. Like for example, I studied abroad in Japan, so I was in Japan at for a bit. And I would just ask questions like, "Oh, why?" One of the oddest things, and I don't know if they still do this because it's been a while since I've been there, and 10 years is a long time for Japan. Since it's a smaller country, things change there faster than it changes here in America. Things are slow to change. And one thing that I thought was hilarious was going Christmas shopping in Japan, and they would like how there's always like the white version of Christmas songs and the black versions of Christmas songs, and it was always the black versions they would play in Japan, and it's just like this is very interesting. They don't understand the language, they don't understand anything, but it's like the runs and the way the music, like the motion they appreciate. And so, that got me curious into like, so learning more about the music, like, for example, learning more about how Japan has a huge jazz scene. They have huge appreciation for like just different cultural elements that to me, I'm like, that makes sense. They love jazz. I love jazz. This is, jazz is, like a musical art style originated from us. And like how that plays together. And so kind of like bringing that into my books and stuff, just bringing like these random things and just being like, yeah, putting them together.
To piggyback off that, another example of that is in the Sister Samurai books, where you have the soundtrack for the story in the book. Listening to the soundtrack while reading gave me the feeling of watching Afro Samurai.
Yeah, like that one's heavily inspired by Afro Samurai. And Afro Samurai, there are some very two distinctive, I would say three distinctive things about Afro Samurai that really stands out, which is one, the black main character, him being Afro being narrated by Samuel L. Jackson, and the soundtrack by RZA. Like those are defining things that you still remember even years after watching the show. And I definitely wanted to bring that music into the story and have it be a little bit more interactive and have it, like, uh, yeah, and then sometimes, like, I've grown up with a lot of shonen, but like sometimes I'll hear music and like a fight scene will play in my head. I'm like, yes. Like sometimes I'm like some music just lends itself so well to fight scenes, and I'm just like, yeah, I can see it.
This goes in the YouTube writing list.
Yes, yeah.
Do you have a particular person in mind that Sister Samurai sounds like? Whether it's
Ooh.
like somebody you know or somebody more famous.
Yeah, like she kind of sounds like my mom in my head. But if I had to choose someone to narrate her or voice her, I really like everything that Regina King has done for, like for the genre and for the Black animation space. So it'd be cool to bring her in. But I also like Denai Guerrera's her representation of like in The Walking Dead or like in Black Panther. So like I think she could be like really cool to play Sister Samurai as well in like live action. I have a lot of thoughts in my head.
We gotta hurry up and get you budgeted, get you a bigger budget so we can get a TV show, a manga, animated series,
That's the
something,
dream. I want
something.
an anime. I do. I see it in my head so clearly.
If you need a random announcer, you don't even have to pay me much. You just can just pay me in sushi. I'll be fine. I'll record my lines and go about my business.
I got it. I got it. I got it. I mean, hey, we need some brother monks up in there.
I'll be more than happy to. I'll take. Hey, I'll be a warlord and take a beat down. I'm down. What should I ask you that I didn't know enough to ask?
I should actually talk about my books and to tell you about my books, guys. So I have a debut duology. Two books. It is complete. It is Bones to the Wind and Drawing in Your Bones. It is a sword and sorcery coming of age adventure in the desert. So these children, they're on wind ships in a competition slaying dragons. And one of my big inspiration for the story is I've always wanted to write female rivals because I didn't have a lot of female rivals growing up. Again, I love anime. We had like Naruto and Sasuke, Midoriya and, Bakugo. We have Vegeta and Goku, but no very good female rivals. So I decided to write them. So that was one of the big inspirations for that duology. So yeah, if you want to see girls get down and slay some big monsters, there you go. My other series is the Champloo Mixes series. So it is inspired by Afro Samurai, Samurai Champloo. And I really wanted to write a kind of an anime inspired story where Black women are centered in the narrative because we do not have a lot of that. We Black women do not have a lot of space in the anime genre, and I wanted to create that space so that we can see ourselves represented in, this genre that we grew up on and love. Because there's a lot of people who are still like, wait, you like anime? And I'm like, it's 2025. Like, come on. So yeah, I highly recommend it for my anime fans. So far, book one and book two is out. The sequel just released in June, and all books or signed copies are available on my website and everywhere else you get books.
Is there is a book 3 coming, correct?
Yes, there's a book three coming.
When will that be coming?
So I am hoping to have it out fall of next year.
Okay.
So sometimes fall of next year, I am working on a novel. I'm almost very close to finishing the novel. So once I finish that novel, I'll be working on the third book in the Samurai series.
Fantastic. And you will come back and talk to me about it? Maybe?
Of course, yes,
Maybe?
yes.
If you could create a new holiday, what would it commemorate?
Ooh, I think one of the holidays has already been done, but I'll mention it. Recently Juneteenth became a national holiday, and being from Texas, that is a holiday that my family has celebrated for generations. So, it has been interesting seeing it become, just becoming on a national stage and the way that, it has grown to celebrate freedom across America nationally. So I really do enjoy that. That one's more serious, more fun. More fun holidays. I always enjoy a good 7-Eleven Slurpee day on 7-Eleven where they give out free Slurpees. I think that should be a national holiday. It reminds me of when I was in Japan, there's Pocky Day where people like give boxes of Pocky out as gifts. was just really fun and really cute because I also taught English in South Korea, and like they would give like Pocky to like the teachers and stuff, and I was like, ah, this is cool. So yeah, holiday where you're just giving candy, giving Pocky and Slurpees. That I'm here for it. Or if you want to do like a national like Akira Toriyama Appreciation Day, I'd be down for that too.
So the Slurpee Day would be 7-Eleven. That's got to be, yeah, that's
Yeah,
got
of
to be
course. Yeah,
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven.
Um, the Akira Toriyama Day. What would you? When would you celebrate that?
Ah, ah. There's a lot of like big dates because I don't know if I'd want to do it on the day he passed, but I would want to do it on something that like celebrates his work because his works is so, I don't know, like pivotal to me, like even just growth as a person. And I know pivotal to a lot of people, especially fellow millennials growing up in the 90s into what like he gave to art. Yeah, I don't have a date in my head. I'll come back the next episode and I'll let you know.
Fair enough. I've never seen Dragon Ball, but I've seen enough. Calm down. But I've seen so much shonen, like I can. It would be. It's kind of. I could not like run into his influence. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
he is
yeah,
so big.
yeah. So much shonen takes tropes and influences from his works. Like it wouldn't be what it is today without his works.
Oh, absolutely not. I think when he passed, like everybody, showed up. So that tells you a lot.
Yeah.
Why create?
This question really brings to mind the current situation and current political landscape of America, at least for me. And how this current administration is so hell-bent on destruction in regards to the erasure of legacies, the erasures of histories, the erasures of people. So I think that's what makes creation so important right now. We create to defy those who destroy. It is a pivotal act of resistance, and I encourage everyone to create.
Tatiana, thank you very much.
Ah, thank you for inviting me.
Final thoughts. This was a timely episode and a timeless message. Whatever you're creating, be courageous and keep going because life's too short and someone is waiting on your vision, on your masterpiece. Thank you for joining us, whether it's your first time or this time. If you like what you heard, tell the world. Like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube or go to your favorite podcast app and leave a 5-star review. Either way will help more join the conversation. And until next time, see it, hear it, speak it, live.